Ladies and gentlemen, are we dreaming? Is this real? I'm going to cut right to the chase here. One of the most hotly anticipated freeware aircraft for Microsoft Flight Simulator, the A380X by FlyByWire, is releasing less than a week from now on October the 31st, 2024. No, not 2025, not any of the, frankly, BS clickbait questions I had to answer in the previous video. It's coming out in less than a week, as we predicted in this video right here. Less than 12 hours ago, FlyByWire held a developer stream titled Out of the Hangar, where they gave us an in-depth look at whatever is in store for us in less than a week. Now, I took tons of notes throughout this presentation, so we're going to break down everything from flight systems and cabin details to sound design, VR support, and even certain snippets about Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 compatibility. Now, some of this stuff might be a little repetitive, especially if you watched this video that we uploaded, I think around 4 days ago, but there's tons of new information as well to cover, and there are timestamps in this video as well, so you can skip around and find whatever you're looking for, but I do encourage you guys to check out the full video in its entirety because all of this information is as up to date about the A380X as we can get. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's start things off with the first question that was asked, which is, what does this release really represent for the A380? Now, after 4 years of hard work, FlyByWire is finally ready to give us an open alpha developer preview. This release will allow the community to get hands-on, providing feedback as FlyByWire continues improving and expanding the A380X. And I know the actual verbiage of this developer preview might sound a little confusing, that is it only coming out to developers? Just to confirm, this is coming out to everybody. So all you need is the FlyByWire installer, you need the PC, and you need Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, and it's a freeware install that is available to everybody. Now, this open alpha actually marks the beginning of a structured release cycle with regular updates, additional features, and refinements based on community input. They've been preparing their GitHub repository to allow for even more collaboration going into the future, so the project's development will continue long after launch, but the actual product itself is now in a stable enough state where we actually get to have access to the product and work with it to the best of our abilities. So what's the main focus for this initial release? Well, the key focus for this alpha release for the development team is to provide a flyable, realistic experience on the A380 for VATSIM and point-to-point flights. However, since this is an early alpha, not every system or every feature will be operational. FlyByWire's goal was to ensure that all core systems necessary for typical flights work correctly, while other more complex systems are still being developed. You'll be able to complete standard flights, but stretching the flight envelope too much, like pushing the aircraft to extreme limits, may trigger bugs or crashes. So if you're one of those people that really doesn't like to fly a bug-infested aircraft, I'm not saying that this will be that because they've been working on it for quite some time and you can technically do VATSIM point-to-point flights, but if you do like to push the aircraft or if you do like to sort of be a gung-ho pilot, this might not be the perfect aircraft for you right off the bat. Next up then, let's get into some specific questions that were answered. Will the A380X include a fully modeled cabin? Yes, FlyByWire have confirmed that the A380X will feature a fully modeled interior inspired originally by Emirates' configurations, the airline. You'll have access to the main deck with economy and premium economy sections, as well as the upper deck with first class seating, which is awesome in my personal opinion. Now, while most of the cabin is complete, business class is still a bit of a work in progress. The attention to detail extends to unique floor patterns and layouts for each class, as you're seeing in some of these pictures right here, allowing simmers to experience the luxurious upper deck all for free. That was something mentioned by the developers. A first class or a business class seat on an A380 on one of these premium airlines usually costs quite a bit of money, so you can experience it completely for free through your virtual sort of setting, I guess, which is pretty cool. Next up then, for those of you who love custom liveries, which is practically all of us, we all want to fly our favorite airlines, will there be a paint kit right off the bat? Yes, FlyByWire has you covered in that respect as well. They're releasing an OBJ file that works with Substance Painter, Adobe Substance Painter, enabling creators to design and apply custom liveries to the A380X. Additionally, they're also going to be providing a blank white livery and a layered PSD file to simplify the process for people who want to make custom liveries. So you're going to be seeing all those Star Wars or Frozen or really cool movie liveries and stuff coming soon enough when the creative people in the community start finally making these liveries for us. Next up then, let's talk about VR support. How well does the A380X work in VR? Now, VR is indeed supported, but FlyByWire emphasized that it's still in development. When you load the A380X in VR, a message message will appear noting that VR isn't officially supported or implemented yet, but the devs say that it's already functional enough for complete VATSIM flights. Now, it goes without saying that FlyByWire also recommends high-end specs to achieve smooth performance in VR. Specifically, an RTX 4090 and an i9-13900K is what the developer who was testing the VR on this aircraft had personally, and even then he said that certain areas might still need a little bit of optimization. Now, a quick note on the aircraft performance here, FlyByWire A380X was also tested on the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 version, not the VR version, but the actual 2D version, and the devs already think, despite it being a tech alpha, the performance was much better, owing to the, of course, multi-threading improvements that we're expecting to see in the new simulator. So pretty cool. The future of this aircraft also does look pretty good. Next up then, let's talk about how the A380X handles. Does it feel true to life like the real aircraft? Does it feel really heavy? FlyByWire have, of course, put considerable effort into replicating the handling characteristics of the A380. On the ground, you'll definitely feel the weight of the aircraft. Taxiing requires careful, slow movements to avoid skidding, especially when turning. So you have to be really slow when you're turning. Of course, it's a large aircraft. It's pretty cool. However, once airborne, the FlyByWire, no pun intended, system makes the A380 feel surprisingly agile according to the developers, despite its size. Now, they do have type-rated A380 pilots working on the team as well, who they're sort of taking feedback from, and they've helped fine-tune the FlyByWire system. Now, these very same pilots and the development team note that in the air, the aircraft actually feels surprisingly lighter and highly responsive. You will notice the inertia during maneuvers, like when initiating a roll, but the FlyByWire system eventually compensates effectively, delivering a balanced and stable flight experience. As for the landing, the A380X does have different flare logic and flare laws compared to, say, the A320 that you might be used to. So the developers do say that you want to start flaring a little earlier, especially because you're also sitting higher up. The cockpit is, of course, on a way higher scale, so you're going to have to get used to that. Next up then, let's talk about the advanced features. Will there be any advanced features like brake to vacate and OANS? Now, of course, if you watched the previous video, you'll know the answer to this question, but we'll go through it just in case. Yes, the A380X includes advanced systems like the brake to vacate or BTV feature, as well as the onboard airport navigation system or the OANS feature. Now, the brake to vacate feature, for those of you that don't know, automatically helps manage your braking performance to achieve your pre-selected runway exit point, or where you vacate the runway, which is ideal for high traffic airports where the A380 often frequents. Now, if you're using Navigraph, the team at FlyByWire have actually been working closely with the team at Navigraph, so BTV can actually automatically calculate optimal exits based on the runway length because of the Navigraph integration. However, fear not, if you don't have a Navigraph premium subscription, you'll still be able to use this BTV feature by manually entering the runway distance and other parameters so that the BTV on board can calculate when's the actual correct time to depart the runway and what the braking parameters of the aircraft should be. OANS, on the other hand, provides a moving airport map on the cockpit display, helping pilots navigate airports with better situational awareness, which has also been implemented in the aircraft. So, pretty cool, no complaints there. Now, as a cinematic flight simmer myself as well, I do really care about the sound design of the aircraft. So where are we with that? Well, FlyByWire's sound designer, Boris, went all out with the A380 sound design. Of course he did. You'll hear the full range of sound from the Rolls-Royce's Trent engines firing up, including their distinct roar. The interior cockpit ambience is also packed with tons of details, from hydraulic actuations to switch clicks and lever pulls, creating a deep level of immersion. Of course, you don't expect anything less from FlyByWire at this point. They've set quite a high standard with their A32NX's sound profile, and the A380X is designed to match or even surpass that, of course, given enough time. So once again, while some areas of the sound design may not yet be consistent across all environments, the overall experience is already impressive and promises to improve with updates. Next up then, a quick note on whether the A380X is compatible with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. We did talk about this in the previous update video, but just to bring it up again, yes, FlyByWire have confirmed that the A380X will be backwards compatible like all other add-ons, as Asobo and Microsoft have confirmed, with the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 version coming on November 19th. However, since Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 has a more advanced engine, not every function within this aircraft currently, which has been entirely built for this current version of the simulator, will operate seamlessly at first. FlyByWire will have to work to ensure full compatibility, adapting the 3D model and systems as necessary for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024's framework. Early tests, as I mentioned before, have shown promising performance improvements with the new simulator owing to the multi-threading capabilities, so the team is optimistic about how the A380X will run in the new sim. It's just going to require a few updates here and there to get it to that stage. Next up then, will there be a Simbrief profile or any documentation, any guides to help people get ahead with the A380? Not a lot of people might know, but this is the actual first version of a proper A380 being created for any sim ever. So it's pretty interesting. A lot of people might not actually know how to pilot it like they might know the 737 or the A320. So yes, absolutely. For both, FlyByWire does have a Simbrief profile which will be ready for the A380X and will launch a dedicated documentation website to guide simmers through everything from the setup to the advanced flight procedures, whatever's available on launch with the A380. So you will be in good hands if you've never ever touched an A380 before. Next up then, how can the community, you, me, other developers, and everybody get involved in developing the A380X? This is a really good question and something that the developers were really striving to let us know. Apart from all the features and the gimmicks and everything like that, FlyByWire does encourage the community to get involved. If you're interested in development, coding is a very teachable skill, and FlyByWire has numerous open issues on GitHub that newcomers can work on. Even simple if statements or simple issues that, you know, might not be on the plate of some of these higher end developers, you could just get them off their plate and get the development process going faster than ever before. You don't need to be an expert. They welcome contributions across all skill levels, so once you've made enough improvements, you can submit them for review, and if your work passes their quality standards, it could be integrated into the experimental or stable builds of the aircraft as well. Additionally, FlyByWire does have a detailed quality assurance team. Of course they do, because this aircraft did take 4 years for it to come out, and if I do know some of the other developers, they would have released it way sooner and called it an early access product and asked us for money. I don't want to take any names here. So if you prefer testing and providing feedback, you can also join the QA or the quality assurance program to help shape the future of the A380X. So there'll be links to all of this down in the description section of the video, so you can join, you can learn more, and all of that good stuff. And finally, on a bit of a humorous note, the last question that was asked is, will the toilet on the A380 flush? This is peak aircraft development right here. So they admitted that the A380X doesn't actually have a flush sound or any of the flush mechanics modeled yet, but they joked it might become a future feature request if there's enough demand. So who knows, you can be one of those people that implements the flush sound on the A380. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The FlyByWire A380X is dropping on October the 31st, 2024. It's going to be a fantastic Halloween for all those people that maybe don't have plans for Halloween. I unfortunately do, but I'm going to try to get a full flight video uploaded onto the channel before I go for my Halloween parties and stuff like that. So the aircraft itself is going to be packed with advanced systems, a fully modeled cabin as we talked about, top-notch sound design, VR support, and MSFS 2024 compatibility as well. FlyByWire has of course gone all out to bring this iconic aircraft to the flight sim world, and they're just getting started, and I personally can't wait. Let me know down in the comment section below what you're most excited to try out with this A380X. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates on the channel. As always guys, thanks for watching, and thanks for flying by.